Namaste, everyone. A very warm welcome to today's Yes Talk, which is on Patanjali's Yoga Sutra. Our guest speaker today is Ms. Shivani Gupta, who is a marketing expert and who quit her family business to start Hello My Yoga. As a backpacker, she traveled to different parts of India and Europe to understand yoga, Vedanta, and Ayurveda. During this journey until 2016, she realized the huge gap in authentic resources that help yoga seekers worldwide connect with real yoga teachers in India. Therefore, she created Hello My Yoga, which today offers a platform to yoga, Vedanta, and Ayurveda teachers with self curated, unique digital programs to connect ancient knowledge with modern living. We welcome you, Shivani ma'am. We are so glad to have you with us today. Look forward to an interesting session with you. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Arunama. And thank you so much, the ES team who have invited me. In fact, I'll say we are the people who are behind the screen always. And for the first time, we have been invited to come over a platform and speak. I'm really honored that ES team has organized something like this where I can come and speak. So I would like to start with the presentation. I would say that Hello My Yoga is something which is created as a quest by the yoga student itself, and I'm that yoga student. And I'm so inspired by Patanjali's Yoga Sutra that living by it is something I have learned, and I'm applying it in my daily life. And from there, Hello My Yoga has created. Just a second, I'll just make few arrangements. Yes. Can we change this mode to just a second? Yes. So I believe everybody can see my screen.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much. So, Hello My Yoga. We connect ancient knowledge for modern living. We are recognized by Digital Startup India. We have, since year 2020, we have done 300 programs and we are catering to 70 plus countries with these 300 programs. With the word Hello My Yoga, that defines, that has been created as a brand. But what is these three words, Hello My Yoga? So why did we choose these three words? Because we felt like these three words are something which can be used, understand easily by any part of the world. Hello is a simple greeting, and my yoga is something a sadhak can easily understand, which is related to it, which is related to him or her. So moving ahead, what is yoga? So in many literatures, yoga is defined as, if technically we go, yoga is defined as yuj, which is a union of mind, body, soul, mind, body, breath. All literatures define it differently. And one of the definition which I came through across is yoga is a meditative process of self-discovery and liberation. But for today's time, I define yoga as modern life of steady control of senses and mind, because we are exposed to so much of content that yoga is something that helps us to control our senses and mind, and which is very, very important. So that is yoga. But how I define yoga as a science? Now here I have given a two definition. What is applied science? So applied science is a discipline that is used to apply existing scientific knowledge to develop more practical application. What does that mean? So you'll find the applied science presence in everywhere: physics, chemistry, biology, astronomy, agriculture, everywhere. And this intervention is helping that particular science to develop further. I'll give you with an example. For an example, there is a chronic disease and there is a treatment for it. It is a science. But in this process, for an example, for diagnosis, there's an X-ray machine. For in an operation theater, there is different devices, operation devices, tools. So that is an applied science. So similarly, if we go back to this example again, in modern life, in today's life, there is a chronic disorder. But to deal with it, there are breathing practices. There is rope and belt therapy. There is mm, there is different kind of Ashtanga yoga, Hatha yoga. There's different kind of yogas. To that becomes like an applied science. So here yoga becomes an applied science which is being used in different systems. It is used in healthcare system. It is used in education system. It is used in sports management. It is used in management, in corporate world. So yoga is being applied in different ecosystems. So that's why it becomes as an applied science. Then comes experiential science. Experiential science allows students to discover and develop their own understanding of concepts. I give you an example of this by in school when there is laboratory and there are experiments which we do like pricking our fingertip, and with that blood we under the microscope we visualize how the red blood cells are, or for an example we create a circuit and lit a bulb. So this is something which we experienced, we created a curiosity out of it, and then that maybe some of your student, like some of your friends might be so impacted with it, they might have pursued a profession out of it. So out of that experience. So similarly, yoga as an experience for me, what it was 15 years back when I just from a in a corporate culture, when I used to go in the evening and practice at some neighborhood studio. And then when I went to Rishikesh for further more intensive practices, or when I was traveling in Europe to attend different workshops, or when I pursued my own teacher training course while developing Haloma Yoga. So every time the belief of yoga changed. Not only there, but when I started applying yoga in my life. So that's why there was a point of time for me, yoga was only Baharanga yoga. But eventually, when I started applying it in myself, in my on my own life, it becomes Antarang Yoga. So the definition changed for me eventually at different stages of life. So that is experiential science. So therefore, what I feel here, this is my definition that yoga is both an applied and experiential science. Now coming to this definition that this is yoga is both an applied and experiential science, but there are a lot of time when I see that we when we learn about Ashtang yoga system, we call it as 8 limbs, and we give a flow of chart that there is yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dhyan, dharana, samadhi. So we give a flow of chart that first there is yamas and niyamas, then second point is asana, pranayam, second, third is this, then but this is not a flow. I personally believe that yoga has 8 different gates for you. It is up to you. Whichever gate is attracting you, just join it and then experience it, start applying it in your life. That is yoga. So, and this is something which I'm considering today's world, today's kind of noise which we are attracted to, today's kind of experiences what we are having. So this is something which I'm proposing you as a definition, as different limbs where which when can attract you at different life stages. Join it, and after applying it, then experience it. So this is something yoga I see. Sorry, I have come up with the notes. Reason behind it that I've been always behind the screens, and for the first time I'm coming forward and speaking, so I might require some notes. So I completely agree with the statement of Guruji, and he says yoga does not just change the way we see things; it transforms the person who sees it. And Here I have given 5 boxes. The first box is avoid complexity. So this is my journey. I've come out from corporate cubicle and then determined my own journey and created something like Hello My Yoga. But in all this journey, I have realized one thing. At corporate culture, we are so much toxicated with this thing of doing multiple tasking, this concept of multiple tasking. In fact, there is no such thing. You will always see one thing at a time. That is avoid complexity. And when you start practicing anything when I'm talking about is yoga, any limb out of it. When you start practicing it regularly, when you practice, be it asana, be it breathing practices, be it meditation, be it only yama and niyama, when you start practicing it regularly every day, you'll see as a person you transform. And these are the different signs. These are the different 5 signs that start improving the quality of life you have. Like avoid complexities. You start avoiding complexities. I know I'm here today to speak about Patanjali's Yoga Sutra, chapter 1, 14th Sutra. But before going ahead to that, I want to give you a foreground about why I am leading you to that Patanjali's Yoga Sutra. So these are the 5 pointers which I started realizing that they became the green flag, not the red flag, but the green flag of my life, that my life is transforming. I started avoiding complexities. So there was only one thing at a time which I started performing. And when I completed, then I switched to the second step or second event. I was consistent. Whatever I was pursuing, I was consistent. There were failures, there were pitfalls, but I stood again and I again tried it and completed it until not, it's not about getting 100% what I was achieving, but I was there consistently doing it, be it my practice, be it whatever I am pursuing. Then the third is track the progress. So here I'm not talking about the report card, what you have to give it to your friends and family that look, I was on my mat for 12 class plan, or whatever, I have done so many changes. No, I'm not talking about that. I am talking about tracking the progress for yourself, introspection. So there will be, like, for an example, anger. There will be 10 points that burst you, that you express anger on those points. Those points irritates you. And eventually, when you control your senses, when you control yourself, you realize that from 10 you have come down to 8, from 8 you have come down to 6. You track that progress. I'm talking about tracking that progress. I'm not saying that anger is a bad emotion to express. Please express yourself. It is not good to keep any emotion inside. But sometimes we never get to know the language, the expression, the intention behind the words which we use. So during that time, just a second. So during that time, we we tend to create an environment that is not healthy. So those are the pointers on which we work. So we track our progress, and then coming to the create supportive environment. So the supportive environment, I'm not talking about only associated with your parents, your friends, your siblings. No. In this journey, when you start practicing yoga, you tend to start meeting people, those kind of people who are attracted with your energy. And these are the people who give you an ecosystem where you develop. It is not necessary that you have uh, this can be a childhood friend. No, not at all. I'll quote a very beautiful uh, quote by Buddha. All that we are is a result of what we have thought. So this is a beautiful quote. I always feel that we are made of energy. electron, proton, neutrons. We are made of that energy. And when we constantly practice, we culminate a kind of energy inside. And therefore, we attract that kind of energy only. This is what I'm referring to is a spiritual connection, is a kind of spiritual environment you start building around you. So this is supportive environment. I still remember when I'm for the first time when I met Ramesh Bijlani sir. So today also I'm so fond of talking to him, and age doesn't matter here. I can go on and on while talking to him. There are different subjects we are talking about, and we are like having a fruit date. We are having fruits and we are just talking. So this is the spiritual connection which I'm talking about, where age doesn't matter, where geographic location doesn't matter, where profession doesn't matter, where background doesn't matter. You are just spiritually connected. So you culminate that kind of energy inside and you attract similar kind of people around it. I'll just say one thing, friends, here, that I read somewhere, being in Grahast ashram is like fighting inside a fort. I read somewhere this. And this is a beautiful line because I totally believe in Grahast ashram and I am into Grahast ashram and I am in that life stage where I'm living a family life. And in a family life, creating a perfect balance in professional life, personal life, and your sadhana and your practice. Creating that balance between these three verticals is so challenging. So that's why I can relate word by word with this. Being in Grahast ashram is like fighting inside a fort. And for that reason, you need this supportive environment. You talk to this supportive environment. We call it satsang. This is the sang. This is the community which I'm talking about. So this supportive environment is extremely important. And then the last and bigger box is celebrate small wins. What happens with us is, especially as an entrepreneur, now I'm talking about as an entrepreneur, a yogic entrepreneur, the entrepreneur's mentality is they're so hardworking, they're so much into their pursuance that when a small milestone is achieved, they give a reference points with a bigger milestone and they say, I'll celebrate when this will happen. And they constantly procrastinate. And the reason that becomes a very discouraging life. So for me, I celebrate all small wins. Why? Because whenever there are bigger challenges in front of me, these memories of small wins motivate me to go ahead. It reminds me that in past, when that event happened, Shivani, you fought, you stood, and you surpassed it. You overcame it. You had that win. So I always say that celebrating small wins becomes your uh, brownies, which you can chew during your tough times. And that gives you fuel to keep going, to keep moving. So these are the 5 important boxes, which I feel like are something that has transformed me as a person. And as a yoga entrepreneur, it became really very important for me. But the first point, avoid complexity. You know what? I'll just give you a brief example of it with a episode in my own life. I've been kicked out from a lot of investor meets. I've been kicked out from a lot of startup meets. The reason is they ask me to give forecast growth revenue of my company for next 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. I just have one question. Because I can't think complex now. The way I have transformed myself, I can't think complex. I can give you a forecast of 6 months, 1 year. But how I plan for 3 years and 4 years, I cannot. And because of this, I'll quote a beautiful statement by Neem Karoli Baba. You can plan for 100 years, but you don't know what will happen next moment. So that's the reason I feel like that I'm doing a cheating to these people when I pitch and they ask me for the growth revenue for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, I can shuffle the numbers, I can make those numbers big and sell my, to get that investment, but I can't do it. I can't cheat. That's the challenge. I can't be unfair. So, but that's my philosophy, and that is a red flag for that ecosystem. So this avoid complexity sometimes doesn't help me, but I'm fine with it. I'm happy with it because antarang yoga is more important for me. So moving next, yes, why we are here. So I'm sorry, I have to go through my pointers because without my pointers, it will be difficult. This is a very important sutra for me. It is a philosophy for me. I stand by it. I'm able to, wherever Haloma Yoga is because of this sutra. So I'll repeat this sutra. It says, Sahatu dirgha kal nirantarre satकार असेवितो तृणभूमि. उस अभ्यास को लंबे समय तक लगातार आदर पूर्वक श्रद्धा से पालन करने से वह मजबूत स्थिति वाला पक्का बनता है. It becomes firmly grounded by long constant efforts uninterruptedly with earnest devotion. It, abhyas. So just replace it with whatever you are pursuing. I was pursuing to build a platform, Hello My Yoga, that could be reached out with its programs in different countries worldwide. And here I'll share a story with you. In 2016, when we started, what is Hello My Yoga's journey? So in 2016, when Hello My Yoga started, we just started as a social media platform. Why we started is because an episode happened in my life that I realized that a lot of untrained teachers were marketing themselves so well that a lot of experienced teachers were behind the seat. No, like most of the people who were traveling in India, they never get to know about these teachers. So what I did is I created a social media telling people in Rishikesh where they can travel, in Goa where they can go and practice. So this is how Haloma Yoga was created, with a reason to connect spiritual seekers from different countries with the yoga teachers of India. So we were just mere aggregators. That's why a tagline at that point of time was, find your spiritual space to practice yoga with Haloma Yoga. That was a tagline. So we started in 2016, we just started with social media platform. We started getting good audience. We created a website in 2017. We were doing really well. We were getting a traffic of travelers from India and internationally who are seeking right spaces for their own practice. We created a smart website that had algorithms, that had filters, such kind of filters that you just put what kind of yoga you wanted, what kind of level you are, and it will produce, on the basis of your filters, it will produce the yoga events, yoga teachers, yoga centers around and in that neighborhood. So that is the kind of smart website which we produced. But suddenly, COVID happened. Nobody knew. So COVID happened and the traffic dipped. So where we were getting 3,000 people in a week, we started getting 100 people in a week. I could howl, I could cry, but I stood by this mantra, this sutra. I knew it that I have to continuously be there for the longer time, for uninterruptedly, for commitment. I have to keep practicing it. I have to keep pursuing it. There will be something. So from 2017 till 2019 end, early 20, I pursued this. I was pursuing this mantra and I created Haloma Yoga out of it. But then one day this thing happened. Now what? I still showed in the on my workstation, and I thought, when you keep practicing it, and you know how to sit, you know how to hold those vrittis, you start getting the answers. And there and then I started getting the answers, and I switched the model. What did I do is, I know that earlier the model is that we'll take travelers or students to the centers. Now what we can do is, we'll create a platform where all the teachers will be there, and they will be disseminating knowledge through our platform to the students. So still we are a bridge. So there, that change, Hello My Yoga 2.0 was launched. So we became an edtech company. So from aggregators, we became an edtech company. So that's why from 2020 onwards till date, we have almost done 300 programs on yoga, Vedanta, uh, Ayurveda, natural healings. So we have done programs on different subjects with different teachers and catering to more than 70 plus countries. That's the kind of things which we have done. So the entire intention is that you have to constantly do it for long time, uninterruptedly. Stay committed to it. Keep pursuing it, and you'll see that it will be established. I hope I'm just not, giving a very bold speech. There is something you guys are enjoying. So, a lot of marketing gurus always say about patience, passions, perseverance. There are Philip Kotler who keeps saying about patience, passions, perseverance. There are different marketing gurus who always says that patience, passions, and perseverance. Sorry, passion, patience, and perseverance is equal to success. But I realized Patanjali's Yoga Sutra, and this sutra was long time back before this, and it has always guided all of us, isn't it? So for that reason, I always say that in India, the best life coach books are two books: Patanjali's Yoga Sutra and Bhagavad Gita. Brilliant books. Go back again and again to it. Every time you get the answers. These are brilliant books. So, yes, it's an entrepreneur's mantra. There are friends here. I'll tell you two things. So, the first thing is that there are a lot of good ideas I have seen dying because their leader couldn't stay abide to satu dirgh kal nirantar satkar asavito dranbhumi. They could not be patient enough to see the results coming. They were passionate, but there was no perseverance, there was no commitment. So I've seen many good ideas dying, and I have seen many mediocre ideas doing really well because the leader was abiding by Satu Dirgh Kal Nirantar Satkar Asavito Dranbhumi. So this entrepreneur's mantra, this mantra is not, it's not Patanjali's yoga mantra, it's entrepreneur's mantra. So yes, this is something which I would say, and I would talk about it. And so we all are in Grihastha Ashram. I love watching new content. I love watching OTTs. I love watching uh, biopics, and I derive something out of it. And these are the biopics of the people who gave me one message, and that message was Satu Dirgh Kal Nirantar Satkar Asavito Dranbhumi. How? So the first picture is of IPS officer Manoj Kumar Sharma. I believe you guys have watched this movie. If not, then please do watch this movie. It is 12th Fail, Barvi Fail. It's a picture made by Vidhu Vinod Chopra on a beautiful subject, on biopic of Manoj Kumar Sharma, who on his fourth attempt met success. And the entire picture talks about every time when he used to fail, he used to come back again, read, study again and again, hard work, commitment, diligent to that one thing, that I want to be an IPS officer. And for that, Satu Dirghakal, long time, Nerantare, continuous, Satkar, commitment, Asavitu, pursuance, Tranabhumi, and he established it. He became IPS officer. Second picture on the screen is flying Sikh, Milkha Singh. So his movie Bhag Milkha Bhag. We all might have watched this biopic. In that biopic, it is mentioned that he was a sprinter, but in 1956 Olympics, he failed. And there he met Charles Jenkins. And he was so inspired by him that he started practicing. And in the movie, it shows that how rigorously, aggressively he practiced so that he can win. And after that, there was no looking back. He became flying sick. What else? Mary Kom, the 6 times world champion in boxing. So I read one of her interview, and in that interview, she said, it's not easy to come back after getting married. Grahasthashram, friends. It's not easy. But Satudirg Kal Nerantar Satkar Asavito Dranbhumi, she practiced. She trained herself. She trained her so well that in the same article, in the same interview, she mentioned that I decided that until I achieve it, I won't quit. That was her perseverance. Then comes in the screen is legendary India's physicist who have created India's future. Dr. Vikram Sarabhai and Dr. Homi Jahangir Bhabha. So friends, we have read a lot about it, but honestly speaking, when I saw their captivating tale in OTT called Rocket Boys, I was really impressed that how they imagined an idea and they tried it in their college campus, and they pursued it every day in their labs until they delivered it. That we got a first satellite, Aryabhat. The atomic energy plant was there. So these people have created India's future. And again, going back to the same sutra, Satu Dirghakal Nerantar Satkara Sevito Dranbhumi. So these are the people who motivate and who shows that they were the living example of this Patanjali's Yoga Sutra. That, and you know what? After watching their biopic, I realized that yes, when for a long time you are committed to your passion and you keep practicing it, success is there. And that is sustainable success. So, and the two big fellows, these are the genius, international genius, Elon Musk and Jack Ma. So after series of failure, I'll just start with first Elon Musk. Elon Musk, very famous stories about Tesla. When he launched Tesla, a lot of venture capitalists didn't like its business model and they say that it will not work. But Elon Musk sold off his PayPal and whatever money he generated from there, he invested in Tesla and he let it so that Tesla idea could float. And to that spending, that spending of his own saving to let Tesla float is worth it today. It's one of the finest machinery, I would say. And yes, then second is Jack Ma. Jack Ma is known for persistence. That line is, he is persistence through failure to get that success. Why is it so? He is the person who has been failed in primary, middle, and high school. He was failed in police force for the selection of police force. He failed in the interview of KFC also. But can you imagine? He persistently worked on it. He persistently worked on it, and he created Alibaba, the world's largest online marketplace. So these people have failed, but they were ready, they were committed, they kept on doing it, whatever they were pursuing it, they were practicing it, they were back to their workstation. and they delivered the results. So this is about these people, which reminds me of this Patanjali's Yoga Sutra. So friends, here I would use the quote by Elon Musk. And Elon Musk says, failure is necessary. He says that if thing is not failing, you are not innovating enough. And you know what? I was I was almost, I have invested so much in Hello My Yoga's first version, and it was dying during COVID, that I realized that what next? And I came across this quote that is necessary. If things are not failing, you are not innovating enough. And I said there should be something, I should do it. And here I just turned the table and the new platform was ready. Hello My Yoga, where now I'm not, there is a bridge. The bridge is already there. But this time I am connecting teachers with the students, not the students with the teachers. It's just that I changed the table. I turned the table and look, we are there. So yes, in 2020, this line really created a magic for me. And I persistently, but there was one thing in me that from 3,000 to 100 traffic, it was falling, but I was ready. I was every day showing up at the workstation. I was looking for different things. I was looking for different ideas. Even if we had 5 inquiries, we dipped from 100 inquiries in a week to 5 inquiries. I was diligently replying to them. I didn't let Hello My Yoga die off because I knew there is something which is hidden. I have to constantly work on it. So, Satudirga Kal Nirantare Satkara Savito Ranbhumi. So, here is Hello My Yoga 2.0, that we have live programs, we have self-paced programs, we have products available on Amazon. So, we have 3 different verticals. We have almost 20 blogs in a month, which we are doing. We have some of the initiatives like every year on 21st June, we announce our own list of inspiring yoga teachers, where a young yoga teachers send their profile to us. We send it to the jury, and then from there, we select around either 21 or 51 or 100 names of the yoga teachers. We have a discussion forum Mitra, where we request yoga community to come join and put their questions. And again, we request yoga community to answer those questions out of their experience or applications. Then we have YouTube series, Chat on the Mat, Second Life. Chat on the Mat is where we request the experts to answer few of the questions which is related to their expertise or subject. And Second Life is where we get the people on platform who have transformed their life with yoga. So they were previously something, and then with yoga, how did they heal themselves? So in year 2021, we created a pool of yoga teachers, and we did a free pranayam course where more than 5,000 people participated. And those pranayam programs were given in a batch of 10-20 people. So we continuously host knowledge webinars on yoga, Ayurveda, and medical system. We have digital programs on upskilling yoga instructors, mental health. We promote Ayurveda daily practices. We have programs on yoga philosophy, chanting. So we do whatever we do with the purpose of 2 things: experiential yoga and application of yoga. So applied science and experiential science. That's the purpose. We have been appreciated by Morarji Desai in National Institute of Yoga for whatever we are doing. We have been doing a lot of brand collaborations organically. But here comes to the major part. So it's not that I stumbled one day on this chapter 114 Sutra and I started believing in it. It was my own journey. We know that there are around 196 aphorisms. These sutras, 196 is as per Guruji B.K. Sanyanga, and 195 if we go by Krishnamacharya's tradition. So it's not that one day, one fine morning, I felt like I'll just start believing in this mantras. No, this was my journey of transformation. So there was there was this Patanjali's Yoga Sutra 12, which happened in my life, which says, Abhyas Vairagyabham Tat Nirodha. These vrittis are controlled by practice and non-attachment. So I was constantly practicing my pursuance, whatever my passion was, I was pursuing it constantly from year 2017 till 2020. COVID happened. So it was not that I felt really bad about it, that, oh God, now I have what I can do. I cannot let it go like this. I have invested so much. I had to take risk. So with these constant controlled practices, sorry, with this constant practice, I was able to create that non-attachment also for that particular thing. And that helped me, that helped me to control my those thoughts, those discouraging thoughts that were coming in my mind, that there will be something, that the dark, in this dark tunnel, at the end of the dark tunnel there is sunshine. So I was believing in that process, and I was able to believe in that process because I was constantly practicing, and there was vairagya with it. Vairagya is an important element because in an entrepreneur's life, non-attachment helps you to take risk. I completely feel that non-attachment helps you to take risk. Why is it so? There are different stages in an entrepreneur's journey. I'll say the stages in making an organization. So we are at a very nascent stage when the ideation happens. It's not necessary that how do you think about a particular idea and it will come in reality as it is. Never. It always, there is a morphing which happens. And how open you are to that morphing comes from non-attachment. That there is a stage 1, there is a stage 2, stage 3, stage 4. It could be that stage 1 and stage 2 is phenomenal, is progressive, but the moment you come to stage 3, it becomes a downfall. But then, are you ready to non-attach? Are you ready to you control yourself from those thoughts that I don't want to be attached to it, and move ahead? So the sooner you take a risk on it, the better, there are results around it, because you have to be aggressive in those cases, and you can only do it when you are practicing it constantly. And there is a subject clarity also, friends, because you know the inside outside of that entire process which you have created. And that's how the non-attachment helps you. And then comes 13th sutra, which says that तत्र स्थितो यत्र अभ्यास, अभ्यास और वैराग्य में से चित्त की स्थिरता के लिए जो प्रयत्न करना है वह अभ्यास है. Of these two, अभ्यास and vairagya, continuous efforts to keep them the vrittis perfectly restrained is practice. And I completely agree on it. What happens is that when we achieve milestones, we started relaxing. We have achieved it, let's relax now, it's okay, we have achieved it, we do not have to invest so much of energy every time. No, keep practicing it, keep that enthusiasm level of that bar, of that threshold, every time same. Because anytime it dips, you will start seeing it in the results. So those continuous efforts have to be maintained with the practice. So, and it all boils down, it all distills to 14th Sutra, which is Satu Dirgha Kal Nirantare Satkara Asavito Dranbhumi. So it boils down to everything to this point. So vrittis, friends, with the entrepreneur, there are this mind, this senses. Why I say that yoga is practice to stable your senses, to curb your senses, because there's so much out there. You have to create that mental stability, you have to create that good mental health through your yoga practice only, through your abhyas. So yes, this is how we entrepreneurs work. And then coming to Patanjali's Yoga Sutra, chapter 1, 15th. So when I learned Patanjali's Yoga Sutra, when I was exploring the applications of Patanjali's Yoga Sutra, I realized that it's an entire journey what Patanjali is describing about, that this is what will happen, then this will happen, and then this will happen. And actually it happens like this only. First, you learn about practice and non-attachment, then you keep practicing that entire thing, and then you come to that habit of that practice becomes a part of your lifestyle in such a way that you practice it for longer time with commitment, with that it is so established that it helps you to control that fluctuation, that makes you desireless. But here, as an entrepreneur, I'm not talking about desireless as in you do not have desire. I am living in grahast ashram. So and I have invested so much on Hello My Yoga, there are some goals which I need to achieve. There are some deliverables which I have to do it. What are those deliverables? So for that reason, I have bring up this Patanjali's Yoga Sutra. दृष्ट अनुश्राविक विषय वितृष्ण से वशीकार संज्ञा वैराग्यम. So I'm really bad in Sanskrit, but I tried my best to say these sutras. जो भी देखे हुए एवं सुने हुए विषय हैं, उन सबको प्राप्त करने की इच्छा का ना होना, ऐसे पूर्ण रूप से वश नियंत्रण में किए गए चित्त की अवस्था को ही वैराग्य कहते हैं. In English, it says, when the mind loses all desire for subject, seen or described in these scriptures, it acquires a state of utter desirelessness, which is called detachment. So first we learn about non-attachment. Now we are coming to the state of detachment. So for non-attachment, I gave a concept of the ecosystem of entrepreneurs. But here in detachment, what I want to say is that while we are pursuing our passion as an entrepreneur, we will see there will be a lot of reference points, and these reference points are not created by any other member but are created by your own friends who come and tell you that what they are doing in their life, by your parents who create that what how the other person's business is growing up. So these can be reference points that can deviate you, that can demotivate you. But since you are practicing Patanjali's Yoga Sutra 14th, Satudirgha Kal Nirantara Satkara Asavito Dranbhumi. So that practice has become so much part of your life that you know it, that it will deliver you the success. It will deliver you the results. It's just that you have to stay committed to it. So that's the reason here I describe an entrepreneur. If he comes to the stage of desirelessness, I describe him as Arjun, who is pointing only at the eye of the fish. He can't see anything else. There are no other vrittis. There are no fluctuations. That's a clear objective that this is my company. This is my passion. I am pursuing something and that's my goal. So that's it. So this is how Patanjali's Yoga Sutra. I'm yet to achieve that state because sometimes I become deviated here and there. But I abide by Patanjali's Yoga Sutra 14, and I always tell it to the young audience or any generation people who are pursuing for something. I tell them just stay by this and you'll see the magic happening. You will see the success will come. Overnight success is not possible. Sustainable success is only possible at Dirghakal. Commitment. Every day show up for that work with the same passion, with the same respect. So yes, that's my piece, that how Haloma Yoga created and how we are pursuing what we are pursuing. So this is what Haloma Yoga is. This is what Shivani Gupta is. I hope you liked it. Although I did some cheating, I had some my notes because without notes, it's quite impossible to tell each and every stage of ours. Now it's all to Arunima.
Thank you so much, Shivani ma'am, for a very lovely session, for sharing your deep insights and your experience as an entrepreneur. And Personally, for me, it was a delightful realization when you brought in the comparison between the entrepreneur success mantra and, of course, the sutra of the day. Thank you so much. It was lovely.
Thank
Thanks a
you,
lot.
Arunam. I'm
Uh,
glad Veena ji is here.
yeah, so participants, if anyone.
I decided today because I was contemplating about whether to join Prasadji's meditation for beginners. And I'm a Vipassana meditator, meditate for decades. But I always like to hear refreshers, things. And so I checked your story, and then you shared this. And I'm so much into Bhagavad Gita, and I need help with Patanjali's Yoga Sutra, even though I've studied it in my trainings. So I said, and then also your energy attracted me, you know, and listen. And I've always wondered why you named it Hello My Yoga. Yeah, I always wondered, so I got some answers. And I met you during COVID times, yeah, because of Prasadji's I think it was Lightening the Mind. That was the first one. And I have loved your platform. I'm living, I mean, it's like right now you can connect with people all over the world. So that's why I keep, sharing things for you. And I mean, because I strongly believe I can feel that passion, that strong commitment that you're talking about. And today was really, I was meant to hear it. And I loved your connection, like Ma'am Arunima. Sorry if I'm saying your name wrong. I mean, I love the connection that you made because I'm making it with Bhagavad Gita shlokas. So it was absolutely very inspiring, and I wish you continued success. Yeah.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Veena ji. Veena ji is one of the oldest participant of Haloma Yoga. Oldest not in terms of age, but the count of programs she has done with Haloma Yoga. She has.
Thank you.
So it's lovely to see her.
Thank you, Veena ma'am. Thanks a lot. Yeah, so participants, if anyone else wants to share something or has a question, please go ahead, raise the hand or use the chat box, please. Yeah, Ruchi.
Thank you so much, Shivani. It was really lovely hearing you. And also, as Bijlani sir shared this message with me in the morning that this is happening in this Yes Talk is happening in the evening. Uh, I think I was looking forward to hear this thing today, and that's why it came to me, So I was seeking this, and it came to me because many a times it happens that I met a friend yesterday who is a very very strong practitioner, but she said that I can't rely on yoga as a profession because she's a professor in bits plani. She was like, I am the only one who is earning in my house, but right now I don't see that money flowing in through yoga. I have to run my house at the same time, and I can't be the my income cannot depend on my audience motivation every time. I can't so as a yoga practitioner and a trainer, even I feel so that people pay, but many a times they don't turn up for sessions, and you can't motivate people to this thing. But when a platform comes up which grows everyone, it is like growing the environment. It is like creating that space for everyone and working so strongly on the subject. So I'm very aspired to see your platform and hear your talk. Thank you so much. Really really enjoyed and loved it.
Thank you, Ruchi. The only intention is to let people know that yoga can is not limited to yoga mat. It is a very much application and experiential knowledge. That's first thing. And then second is, as you spoke about your friend who feels like she's the only bread and butter earner from the family. So I would suggest in that case, connect with us. Maybe we can help.
Great.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ruchi ma'am. Participants. Yeah, Srividya, a little bit louder. You are not audible.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you for that lovely talk. And it's very beautiful the way you've connected the dots between entrepreneurship and Patanjali's yoga. I just wanted to know, when did your journey with Patanjali's yoga start and how did that happen? Just a little bit of
Yeah, so
a
it
back
started,
insight.
it started in year 2018 with Dr. N. Ganesh Rao. And I started just learning about it and I just made my notes. But you know what happened is that this one sutra, while he was giving us notes on this sutra, I was just creating another layout of my own in parallel to it. And I don't know why I was mapping it. I was creating my own layout. I don't know why, but I was just creating my own layout also. And it never happened that I went back again on those chapters, but it just happened that I started noticing that how, you know, because we all are limited to only two sutras, Chitta Vritti Nirodha, Atha Yoga Anushasana. Most of the yoga practitioners will be speaking about only these two sutras. Or maybe Tada Drushtuhu Swarupam Avasthanam, those something of those lines. But the more deeper I started going inside, I felt like this is a life coach book. So while I was building Hello My Yoga, I was also walking by each and every sutra and I was defining my journey around it. But then when I got matured enough with Hello My Yoga only, you know, I was I was doing different activities. I was performing different initiatives, processing different initiatives of Hello My Yoga. There and then, this sutra defined me. I just came across this sutra and I said, beautiful. I'm living by it. Why, if I'm living by it, why not I get attached to it more? And I read more around it. And thereafter, that becomes a part of my life, part of Hello My Yoga. And also, I stopped reading marketing books after that. I started reading more of Patanjali's Yoga Sutra because I know that's something I'll get from there only.
Beautiful. Thank you. And you were originally a marketing person,
Yeah,
right?
originally I was a marketing person. So that's why I said that Philip Kotler and different marketing guru always says that perseverance, passion, patience is equal to success. But this is something Patanjali's Yoga Sutra has been saying it long time back, but we never refer it because it wasn't that fancy. It was never told us in an applied form. It was always told us in terms of sadhana. So that's why I extracted it for our own purpose. I became a bit selfish, I'll say. And I removed the word
I think
abhyasa
it's so
to my
beautiful.
pursuance.
No, it's very beautiful the way you've integrated your marketing expertise with yoga and built a platform. It's very inspiring. Thank you
Thank
so
you so
much for
much.
sharing.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Dr. Bijlani, sir, I request you to share your thoughts, please.
First, I must congratulate Shivani on sharing the journey of her life
Thank you so much, sir.
in such a clear and candid manner. And at the same time, bringing out through it the significance of the Yoga Sutra that has impressed her and helped her progress and move towards the goal, has sustained her through difficult times like the COVID times. And Srividya had in fact put in the chat that you could conduct a workshop on the Yes platform for entrepreneurs or the corporate sector on how Patanjali's Yoga Sutras can help them.
Thank you so much,
So,
Srividya.
uh,
I'll totally look forward to that idea.
and there was one more thing that was there in the chat somewhere in the beginning when you said that you uh, n- get attracted to the right type of people. And then I think there was a comment that the other way around also works. The people get attracted to you who are looking for that positive energy. So it's a two-way traffic. It's just
Agreed.
that I mean, events can organize to look as if one who got attracted to whom, but it's just the circumstances being created to bring the right people together. That would be a neutral way of looking at it. One of the things that struck me was that you uh, your own view of yoga kept changing with time, starting with Bahiranga Yoga, as most of us do. You move towards Antaranga Yoga. And in fact, you talked about many stages through which you went as your own view of yoga kept changing. Now, that's a great thing because sometimes we feel that I should remain consistent, but truth always overrides consistency. So, when your view of what is true kept changing, you were very willing and sort of ready to change your ideas. And uh, that's how, I mean, we can reach the highest truth. So, there's always scope for evolving further because the ultimate truth is infinite, and whatever we know is always finite, and therefore there's always scope for it, and we'll be able to move in that direction only if we are ready to change the way how we look at it and the place where we are now. So that truth overrides consistency. And in just a lighter vein, when you are talking about the 5 pointers, you brought out being consistent as one of the important things. Now, that consistency is different from this consistency. That is being consistent about holding on to something, clinging to some opinion just because you had it once and not responding to the uh, enlargement of your knowledge, enlargement of your view, and unwilling to change. That is not the type of consistency that is important. But the second being consistent, here you meant more or less being persistent.
Right.
So consistent can also mean being persistent, and that is
Persistent.
what
Agreed,
you
sir.
meant there.
I'll just add to it, sir, that the practice or yoga does not make only body flexible, it makes mind also flexible.
Sure.
So that's why we are open for the changes, and that's why we start believing that change is constant.
Sure. So it's both flexibility of the body and the mind.
And the mind.
Sure. Working on both. And in both, there is scope for so much progress.
Yes.
Because basically, we are trying to make both these sort of instruments, the body and the mind, unfold their maximum potential. And therefore, that's what leads to both their improvement of their performance and that flexibility. Now, what you brought out very beautifully is that what Patanjali has given us as the prescription, sort of, in this 14th Sutra in the first section, is something which can be used for any type of goals. Any worthy goal will require these same qualities, these same efforts, same type of effort. Now, here there is something which is both positive and negative. The positive part is that an entrepreneur or anyone or a student or anyone who wants to pursue something seriously can make use of these qualities, these uh, cultivate these habits, and improve the chances of reaching that goal. Now, the important thing is that the goal itself can change. Just as the rest of the things change, the goal can also change. So, as you said quite rightly, that when Patanjali is giving us this prescription, it is not for becoming a more successful entrepreneur. He is giving us for how to unite with the divine. That is the ultimate sort of goal of yoga. That is what he is giving it to us for. But we can apply it in other areas. But it's important also to realize that that goal itself is something which uh, is not the end of the process. The goal can keep shifting. The goal can also change. So apart from the rest of the things, the goal itself can change. It's always scope for a higher and wider goal. And having reached that goal, again, there is scope for getting detached even from that goal. That's what Patanjali brings out in the third section, the siddhis, that you can get siddhis, which can sort of border on the miraculous, like being able to read somebody else's mind, being able to know about the past and about the future and whatnot. So, all those siddhis can also be acquired. But then in the fourth section, he wants, don't use those siddhis, don't get stuck there. That also you have to give up. Otherwise, you'll not go to Cavalya. Otherwise, you'll not go to the fourth level, which means that you can't cling to it that I put in so much effort to achieve these extraordinary powers, and now I have to give up even this. Now, that is the last frontier. Even that has to be given up, which means that one doesn't have to get stuck with any goal, because there's always a higher goal that one can look up to. And maybe I'll close with one of the quotes from the mother, where she's talked about the quality of one's aim.
So one thing I want to add, when you said that the detachment, about the detachment. So here for an entrepreneur, that's why it is important not to get attached to the milestone, but enjoy the journey.
Yeah,
So the
exactly.
journey is very important here. So yes, I related with chapter 3 again from
Yes, yes.
a next presentation where there will be this chapter 3 also.
Yes, sort of the detachment from the goal is important. The important thing is the journey, to enjoy the journey. That applies to yoga also. One can't get obsessed with the goal or be attached to the goal, just enjoy the journey. That's what makes the process of yoga long but still enjoyable. But all the same, we should have a goal or an aim. One might equate the two, although they may not be always exactly the same, but you can roughly say they're the same. What the mother has said is that we should all have an aim in life, because an aimless life is a miserable life. And then she goes on to say, on the quality of your aim will depend the quality of your life. On the quality of your aim will depend the quality of your life. And then what is that high quality aim which will give us a high quality life? She says, your aim should be high and wide, generous and disinterested. So high and wide, the highest and the widest is the divine. And of course, I mean, pursuing the divine means not just pursuing it as an abstract, unmanifest idea or concept, or having an experience which is extraordinary, but pursuing it also means seeing that divine all around us, in everything, in everyone, in all that we do. And that is what gives us that sense of interrelatedness and oneness, which changes us, gives us material for that further progress, and also changes the world. So that should be high and wide, generous and disinterested. The disinterested part brings in that detachment. That is not motivated by personal interest or gain. So the aim should be high and wide, generous and disinterested. So thank you again, Shivani, and we hope to have you again and again. And you can think over the proposal for the workshop which Srividya made. Srividya is also a part of the YES team.
Oh, wonderful.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today.
Shivani ma'am, thanks a
Thank you.
lot again for this lovely session. And we would love to have you again on this platform.
Thank you so much.
Participants, I thank you as well for being with us today. We can close today's session with a moment of peaceful silence. Namaste.